A pleasant good evening and welcome to Pete Annamarino Stadium on the campus of Gateway High School in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, as the Gateway Gators take on the Pine-Richland Rams in a WPIAL 5A non-conference matchup. Gateway 3-1 on the season, Pine-Richland 1-3 on the year. The Gators, they come off of a big road win at Bethel Park last week where the offense showed brightly. The defense looked good as well. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo up in the booth for you today as the Gateway Gators take on the Pine-Richland Rams in a game that we kind of got cheated on last year, Vince, but still a very big football game between two 5A powerhouses.
Yeah, it would have been so great to have seen that matchup last year. I know that's the one that we were kicking ourselves. Certainly there were a lot of losses last year due to COVID when it came to the schedules for both of these teams, but we got this game this year, and don't let that 1-3 record fool you. This Pine-Richland Rams team still has a ton of talent. They've played a really tough non-conference slate, and it doesn't get any easier tonight. This is a big litmus test for both of these programs. Both teams are ones that, preseason trib rankings, number 2, number 3. So these are two teams that people expect to go deep into the playoffs.
And one thing that Pine-Richland has to worry themselves with is an offensive attack from Gateway that keeps getting more and more balanced each and every week.
Absolutely, and they've really started to have key guys at every position step up and make plays. A nice write-up this week, Jaquan Reynolds, 494 scrimmage yards in 3 games. He's really taken that step forward as a sophomore and established himself as the ball carrier in the backfield. Birch coming off a 288-yard passing performance and 3 touchdowns. He looked excellent, and of course, they got Patrick Bodie out there. I mean, he is the guy that demands the attention, and when he does, he makes big plays, but he also opens up the field for other people to be able to make plays underneath because he's able to extend the defenses out, stretch them out because he is just so fast.
We're going to send it down to the field for a kickoff in this big WPIAL 5A non-conference matchup. It's the Gateway Gators and the Pine-Richland Rams here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Setting the scene for our listeners on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. On the far sideline of the Pine-Richland Rams, they wear the all-white uniforms with the green numerals and the white helmets with the green Rams horns on both sides. Near sideline are the Gateway Gators, black and gold uniforms with the gold helmets. And we're underway in Monroeville, PA, as Birch will scoop up the kickoff at around the 20-yard line, finds a gap, fumbles the football. A scrum for the ball. Looks like Gateway may have fallen on it, but we're going to have to dig this one out to determine who has the football. Down at the bottom of the pile, it is a Gateway Gator, so Birch with the fumble, but the fumble recovery for Gateway. Jordan Tyree with the fumble recovery for the Gators.
Birch has struggled this year in return, whether it be punt returns, kick returns. We haven't seen that explosiveness I think a lot of people were expecting out of him, and very nearly a huge break there. The Gators able to get back on top of that one. I mean, you would have been giving the Rams all the momentum in a short field, but instead now you're able to get the other Birch brother out there, get this offense going, and you've got some guys that are coming off some really big performances. Momentum should be on their side.
Gateway will motion 3 to the left side of the formation as the ball's on the right hash. Play action to Reynolds, dump off to Birch. Birch finds a gap, and he will take it out across the 40, approaching the 44-yard line as the tackle made by Jeremiah Hasley for the Pine-Richland Rams.
A good showing of trust there, designing a play to get the ball right back in Birch's hands. He had over 100 yards in the first game of the season against Delaware Valley. He's only had about 60 yards in the 3 games since. If they're going to take that next step as an offense, he needs to get the ball and needs to be able to make some plays.
Again, Birch to the air, finds a wide open Brett Birch, and Birch has the first down and more inside of Pine-Richland territory before finally being brought down. Tackle on the play by Cam Wells for the Rams.
And there it is, right on cue. A nice route right across the middle. Good touch on it, brother to brother. Nice pickup. And again, the more that they can find guys that can be consistent options for this offense, the harder it is to game plan and stop them.
Birch in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right, wing to the left. Play action, running the option to the right-hand side. Nowhere for Brad Birch to go as Brett Birch circled out a bit too far to complete that option pitch. And no gain on the play brings up 2nd down and 10. And this is the first time that the Gators don't pick up any yards on the offensive attack thus far.
Yeah, not a bad play design. Throw something different at him. Run the ball for the first time tonight, but Jeremiah Hasley, the senior, not fooled on that one. His big 6'3", 225-pound frame was right there plugging up the outside. There was nowhere to go for Birch and just tried to get back to the line of scrimmage.
2 receivers and a wing to the left. 1 receiver to the far side right as Reynolds settles to the right-hand side of Brad Birch. Play action. Birch pressured, rolls to his right, has some greenery in front of him. He's going to tuck, hesitate, and then be spun down after a gain of just one. He had an opportunity to run and get away from Max Heckard, but the hesitation allowed Heckard to reset, make the play, and it's only a 1 yard gain, 3rd down and 9.
Birch thought he was going to be able to juke him out of his cleats there, but a good job by Heckard, again, as you said, reestablishing himself, breaking down, as you see here. Yeah, if he goes and just tries to get to the edge or even cut it inside, he probably gets past him, but that hesitation move, just overthought it there instead of trying to get what he could on that play.
So 3rd and 9 for Gateway as they look to the sideline to get the play. Twins to either side. Motion man from right to left on that short side. He'll settle as a wing to the right. Straight drop back for Birch, some late pressure. Gateway setting up the screen. Not much doing there as the pass is complete to Leonard Sherrod, and Sherrod is brought down at the line of scrimmage. 3 white jerseys there, and this is kind of in-between zone where too close for a punt, too far for a field goal. Looks like the offense is going to stay on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, really get too picky here. You pick it up, you get a chance to get some points on the board early, but I might punt it here, try and pin the Rams deep, play that field position game.
Gators are going to go with the pooch punt. A nice punt by Birch that'll roll down towards the 10-yard line, and as it started to roll back in favor of Pine-Richland, smartly down by Leonard Sherrod, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Pine-Richland at the 11-yard line. So the pooch punt working well there for Brad Birch. Yeah,
easy enough, and like I said, now you make, because that was a long down distance. It'd be one thing if you were at your 40-yard line and it was a 4th and 4, but that was a 4th and 11 there. So you punt, you live for another possession, and you force the Rams to have to go 89 yards on you. And this Gateway defense allowing just 14 points a game. That's a bet I would take. And I'm glad that Coach Hall did the same, and I think that'll work out for them here.
Shotgun formation for Pine-Richland as they send trips to the right of the formation. Now a motion man settles on the left. Play action, pass to that left-hand side, and the pass complete to Bradford Gelly. And quickly getting out there is Matthew Brooks for Gateway, making the play after a modest gain of a couple out towards the 14th.
That's one thing we've seen from this Gators defense. They tackle well. They run down the ball. They make sure to wrap up their man. Good job there in coverage.
Colton Boyd, the senior quarterback, he will hand off. Back coming from left to right will be brought down out towards the 20-yard line. So that'll be shy of the 1st down marker. There's a couple of Gators in there, including Remy Bose. Also involved in the tackle, Demetrius Harper.
Both of these teams going with no huddle offenses here to start, keeping this pace of play going quick. That was Eastburn on the carry there. Look for him and Ryan Palmieri to be sort of a two-headed monster in the backfield. They'll give both of those guys kind of split carries throughout the evening.
Eastburn stays in there as the back as they go heavy to the right-hand side, and they'll go to the ground to the right-hand side, will the Rams. That's enough for a 1st down, and a big hit by Carson Engelke. As Engelke shoulders the ball carrier Eastburn out of bounds, but that's enough for a Pine-Richland 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams out across the 25 as they'll swat the ball at the 26-yard line.
Okay, not having to worry about being the quarterback anymore, so he can go and dish out those licks that he took a few of last year, and he's been a menace on defense. He's really been a big part of the success for that unit.
2 receivers right, 1 to the far side left, a wing bunch to the right as well. Play action. Pass to that left-hand side is caught. Somehow pulling that pass in is the receiver, Bradford Gelly, and Gelly will take it to the house for a Pine-Richland touchdown. He pulled that ball up over top of a Gateway defensive back and takes it to the house on the pass from Colton Boyd.
What a beautiful ball. Again, a high snap there, but a good job. Boyd pulls that down, and look at the spiral, and look where this ball lands, right on that left shoulder of the receiver, right where he needed to have it. It's right over top of the DB, Kenny Lewis, and then it was just a foot race from there. Heller not able to catch him, and gorgeous throw, good run after the catch, 6-0.
Kenny Lewis, 5'7", the freshman, going against Bradford Gelly, 6 feet 1 inches tall. So the higher pass certainly leads to the benefit for the Pine-Richland Rams. So Pine-Richland, after they move the ball about 10 yards on their first set of downs, they push it a little bit further and take it to the house on that big touchdown pass putting Pine-Richland on top 7-0 after the PAT. As we take another look at this touchdown, pretty evident there, the height mismatch between Gelly and the freshman Kenny Lewis over on that far sideline. And Elijah Heller did everything he could to try to chase down Gelly, but couldn't trip him up.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's going to be an interesting matchup to look at throughout the evening. How do they compensate for that? How do they put their DBs in positions to make plays and, more importantly, to prevent the other team from making plays? See how they adjust to that moving forward. But rough start here for the Gators. You pin them down deep, and then you let the big play up. See if the offense can't come back here and put some points up in response.
Gateway looked good offensively on their first drive. They moved the ball into Pine-Richland territory on a couple of passes from Birch to Birch, but then the drive slowed down. And Gateway ended up having to pooch punt, and that turned into 7 points the other way for Pine-Richland a few plays later, as Brett Birch will scoop up this kickoff, take it to the far sideline, cuts it across the 30, and he'll be wrapped and brought down out near the 35-yard line. Tackle on the play by Ethan Pilar for the Rams.
Good return there. Good field position. A couple blockers holding there. You see Lewis, after letting up the touchdown, keeping up the intensity, not letting that get to him. So now you go to work. You got decent field position. You got a ton of playmakers. You don't need all 7 points back on one play. You had some stuff go right on that last possession. We'll see if they're able to get the ball to Reynolds here. He hasn't had a carry yet in this one. 3
receivers to the left, 1 to the far side right. Play action, angle K, tosses it off. Catch by Malachi Moore, and Malachi Moore, the tight end, has a first down for the Gators. A pickup of a dozen, make it 13 as he crosses the 46 out to the 47.
Wow, watch Birch thread the needle here through a couple outstretched arms of the defensive lineman for the Rams there, and then Moore going up and getting that one. Certainly helps when you got a bunch of receivers over 6 foot. Moore right at 6 foot tall. He's able to get that one, bring it down, move the chains.
Birch, hands off. Reynolds trying to cut it to the left, now cuts it back up the field, and he'll be spun down after a gain of about 1.
Reynolds' first carry of the evening. It was, like we said, a nice write-up on him in the trib. He's got 494 yards from scrimmage in the first 3 games. Had his big breakout performance, 164 yards against Penn Hills, another 68 through the air. He's got himself 4 touchdowns on the season, averaging about 5 yards a carry.
Birch in the shotgun, play action, looks right, throws right through the hands of Malachi Moore on the coverage for Pine-Richland is Jeremiah Hasley. And that incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 9. So another Gators drive that starts promisingly starts to bog down.
I think you see here just how important getting chunks of yardage are on 1st and 2nd down. I mean, if Moore brings that one in, he's still tackled short, but we're looking at 3rd and 2. You can do a lot of different things here. Now, if you're the Rams defense, you know in all likelihood a pass is coming, so those defensive linemen, they're gearing up to try and get into the backfield.
Circle motion by Birch, toss across the middle, one-handed grab by Malachi Moore. And as he goes down to the turf, the ball comes loose. He'll cover it up, but it doesn't matter. It's a Gateway first down as Moore reached out, grabbed it, pulled it in with the second hand, and it's a Gators first down inside of the 35.
What a way to atone for that last drop. Yeah, he just sort of sucked that one right out of the air. That was beautiful. That's where those gloves really come in handy there with that little extra stickiness on them. And that's big. You know, the Gators get to keep that offensive unit out on the field. You allow yourself to continue to put yourself in a position to get some points and keep that other offense off the field, which is pretty darn important too.
Gateway motions 3 to the right of the formation. Straight drop back. Birch pumps, goes wide open. Dallas Harper, Gateway touchdown.
My goodness, Dallas Harper stretching out for that one. Birch put that ball right on the money, maybe just a tick farther than he would have liked, but when you got playmakers like that, Harper's able to stretch out and get it. And Harper, we talked about it off the air. Fun fact for everyone at home, that's now the 8th time Harper has touched the ball on offense this season. 5 of them have gone for touchdowns. When this guy gets the ball in his hands, he's looking for 6.
I actually ran into his father out in the parking lot, and he said to me, let's just keep giving him the ball with those kind of numbers. PAT up and in, and we've got a tie ball game, folks, with 5:44 to play in quarter number one. Long pass plays for both teams lead the points as we take another look at this pass. Birch, plenty of time to throw that one, and then drops it right in to Dallas Harper, who carries it across the goal line for the Gators TD.
We'll see if this turns into a shootout. I think I like the Gators' odds in that. I mean, they have just so many explosive playmakers. You see a great crowd on hand here tonight for what this was the matchup last season, and once again, two big favorites in 5A. You don't get a whole lot of games like this. This one just has a different feel in the air. This is a pretty exciting start. I mean, first half of the first quarter, both teams have delivered on some pretty explosive plays.
Well, you know, it's community night here at Gateway High School, so a lot of community members from the Monroeville and Pitcairn communities are out here checking out this football game on this beautiful southwestern Pennsylvania night for football. Beautiful temperatures in the low 60s, nice humidity, so it's not too kind of a cold soup out there that sometimes you can find. Light winds, sun has already made its way down across the horizon to the west here in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. And like we already said, a great crowd on hand to take in this game under clear skies.
We never did find out why we started at 7:15 instead of 7, but those extra 15 minutes did allow the sun to get out of the way and has really created a picturesque atmosphere here for the game tonight.
So it'll be Plaskin kicking off for Gateway. And this one, a knuckler that will take a bounce and go out of bounds inside of the 10. So that's bad news for Pine-Richland, or rather for Gateways. They will put Pine-Richland at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Plaskin has been money when it comes to field goals, PATs. He's made his only field goal in the season. I think he's missed maybe one PAT thus far, but he's really been consistent. But that's the second time this season he's put one out of bounds on the kickoff, and that just changes a drive so much. I mean, you go from, generally a team ending up anywhere from the 15 to the 25. And we've seen Gateway do a really good job in coverage this year. They have not allowed teams to really get decent field position other than obviously a return touchdown for Bethel Park last week. But now you got a short field to work with compared to what you normally would. See what the Rams do with it.
Two receivers left, one to the short side right. And as the Rams will motion two to the right side, they'll set up a little slip screen for the receiver on this right-hand side as the pass is complete. Goches. And Goches brought down as he picks up the first down out across the 45 to the 48-yard line.
Goches is their guy. He's their go-to on offense when it comes to the passing game. Had 31 receptions last season, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Already has a couple this season. He averages about 15 per. He's got 263 yards in the first 4 games of the season. He's a reliable option for Pine-Richland.
Aiden Smith with the tackle on that previous play for Gateway. Boyd looking left, throwing left, and the pass is incomplete, looking for Hasley on that play. And that incompletion brings up second down and 10.
Intended for Hasley.
Well, the Rams have figured out how do you offset a defense that makes its living in the backfield pressuring quarterbacks. You get rid of the ball quickly. They've done that so far here tonight to a certain degree of success, but that one, the timing just a little bit off and overthrew his receiver out towards the sidelines.
Clock stopped, 5:16 to play here in quarter number one. Second and 10 for the Rams. Ball shy of the midfield stripe as the Rams will go to the ground. A nice move in the hole there to break it loose by Brooks Eastburn, and he'll finally be brought down at the third level. That's enough for a Pine-Richland first down.
Unfortunately, you see here you got an official that gets caught in the crossfire and sandwiched as Gators try to come up and tackle before the first down marker, and that sort of sprung the ball carrier Eastburn to get across the sticks. That's a bad break there, but sometimes you just can't avoid that.
High snap as the Rams will try to run the option, but the Gators sniff that one out. Not much room for Colton Boyd as he's brought down by Hunter Dow. Also involved in the tackle is Matthew Brooks.
Boyd's a big guy there at quarterback. 6 feet, 185 pounds. I mean, he's got a little bit to him there. He's not your average high school quarterback, so interested to see if they run him a few more times.
Second down and 9. As Boyd in the shotgun looks to his left-hand side. Another nifty move in the open field, but nowhere to go is a nice open field tackle for the Gators' Kenny Lewis.
Stopped by Demetrius Harper.
So Lewis on that tackle, Demetrius Harper in the vicinity as well. Pickup of a few on that play, brings up 3rd down and about 7. The line to gain at the 31, the ball at the 38.
Continuously impressed with Demetrius Harper's nose for the football. No matter where the ball seems to end up on a play, and no matter where he's positioned on a play, he always seems to end up in the pile somewhere.
So 3rd and 7, high snap. Rams going to go to the ground here. Nowhere to go for the tailback, Ryan Palmieri, as he's stacked up by a host of black jerseys. Hunter Dow in on the tackle. Also in there, Jameer Harbor for the Gators.
And this is more of what we're used to seeing from the Gators defense. Staying in their lanes, wrapping up, sure tackling, gang tackling, got multiple guys in there. Now it looks like they're going to roll the dice here. The Gators elected to punt, pin Pine-Richland deep. Pine-Richland responded with a touchdown, so Rams are going to do the opposite, stick with the football.
Boyd looking to go to the air, pressured late, tosses it out there, shedding a tackler, and a 1st down for the Rams. As Bradford Gelly on the reception. Gelly, who had the TD earlier, picks up the 1st down there, as there was just one Gator out there, and that was Demetrius Harper. And if Harper makes the stop, it's a turnover on downs. But a nice job by Gelly to shed that tackle and pick up the 1st down.
And Harper's been so good. We were just singing his praises in there. He just kind of whiffs on it. Not much else to say about it. Again, yeah, he brings that guy down. Gateway's offense is back on the field looking to take the lead.
So 1st and 10 for Pine-Richland. The ball down on the deck, and it's finally going to be covered up as it was loose for a moment. An error on the handoff between Colton Boyd and Ryan Palmieri, and finally it was covered up by one of those 2 white jerseys.
Well, that's always the risk you run with the RPO, and whether or not the quarterback's going to pull it out at the last minute. You open yourself up. You can bust some really big plays with that. You could also turn the ball over really easily doing that.
Loss of 4 on the play brings up 2nd down and 14. To the ground go the Rams. Wiggling through traffic goes Brooks Eastburn. He's got some great vision as he pushes his way down towards the 26-yard line. So a nice pickup there. Brings up 3rd and much more manageable, about 6.
Yeah, and he just goes, you look, very little hesitation, finds the hole, finds the guy he needs to follow. A good job getting to that next level there. Ryan Corey there leading the way for him. Big tackle.
Trips right. And this time the Rams going to go to the ground. Nothing doing. Aiden Smith stopped the play in the backfield, and then the play ultimately made by Demetrius Harper. So Harper with the tackle after Aiden Smith forces the cutback on the running back, Brooks Eastburn.
Yeah, great job there. Good execution. See Aiden Smith, I mean, he's just been so dynamic. One of those seniors on the defensive side of the ball who's been there and played in these big games, able to bust through there. But this is 4-down territory once again.
4th down and about 9. Pass to the left-hand side. Again, it's complete to Gelly, and Gelly's not going to pick up the 1st down this time as Aiden Smith gets involved in that tackle. Also in there, who else? Carson Engelke. So 2 of the top tacklers for the Gators make the play there. Turnover on downs, Gators football.
Yeah, like he ran into a brick wall there. Look again, gets a head of steam, and then boom. Just immediately stopped in his tracks. That's great tackling there. That's really got to get that defense feeling flying high. You get that offense off the field after surrendering a long play touchdown on the last drive. You bend, you don't break. Now your offense gets to go to work. You haven't even gotten the ball into the hands of Patrick Bodie yet. I look for them on this drive to try and get number 4 in some space, whether it's a bubble screen or something over the top, try to give him a shot on a fly route. But let's see if they go his way here.
Reynolds, the sidecar to the left-hand side of Birch, trips to the left of the formation. Play action. Birch going to toss it to brother Brett, but the pass too strong as that one sailed over the head of Brett Birch. And Andrew Mellis was breaking on that football. And fortunately for the Gators, Mellis couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, that one kind of landing in no man's land. Had Birch, had him wide open. Just, yeah, a little too much on that one. Birch, not the shortest, but not the tallest guy, 5'10", so not going to be able to go up and get that one.
Twins to either side. Birch on the play action was going to hand off to Reynolds, pulled out of his belly. I don't know if that was a design pass or an RPO, but it was blown up by Hasley.
Third down.
for Pine-Richland.
Either way, I'm just glad he was able to hang on to the football. You take a look, I mean, before he could even pull his eyes up to look downfield, he had white jerseys right in his grill. Yeah, Halsley laying the boom there.
So 3rd and 17 for Gateway. They've got to dig deep in their playbook to see if they can pick up a first down on this play as the quarter waning, but there's enough time between game and play clock where they're going to have to run this play this quarter. Birch going to toss it to the left, complete to Bodie. He's got blockers. He cuts it to the far sideline, still on his feet, and finally steps out of bounds as he crosses the 30 out to the 31-yard line. Had he been able to keep his balance just a little bit more there, he'd have been off to the races. But instead, 4th down, and the punt unit's probably going to have to come on.
Yeah, I thought he was going to break that one, and I mean, on a 3rd and 17, if you're looking for a guy to break one open, I mean, that's the guy you're looking for there. And yeah, he would have had some real green too. If he would have had another yard there, Adam, he might have been gone.
So through one quarter, it's Gateway 7, Pine-Richland 7. And the Gators will have to bring the punt unit out as we get to quarter number 2. Taking a look at the Gators' schedule. Victory over Delaware Valley in week 0, week 1. The loss here in Monroeville to Thomas Jefferson, then a couple of road wins at Penn Hills and then at Bethel Park. Both times the Gators allowed just 13 points. Of course, tonight the final non-conference game against Pine-Richland, and then it's all conference from here on out. Next week, homecoming here in Monroeville as the Gators take on the Latrobe Wildcats before hitting the road to take on Penn Trafford on October 8th. Then it's home against Woodland Hills and Connellsville before wrapping up the regular season on the road at Franklin Regional.
Yeah, Adam, after this week, I mean, this one's so far been a dandy, and I expect the rest of it to be as well, the remaining 36 minutes, but always a little bit more special when you get into section games, conference games, because that's when everything evens out. It's when everything comes to fruition. You find out who's going to be playing at the end of October. You have a feeling this Gators team is going to be one of those teams that has a chance to make a deep run, and that's where you start to prove it.
Punt carries over the head of the, this punt snap rather, carries over the head of the Gateway punter, Plaskin, and Plaskin has to cover that one up back at the 2-yard line. And Pine-Richland, with a pretty potent offense, is going to get the ball 1st and goal. We saw similar circumstances on the other side of the coin last week as Gateway was doing this, taking over deep inside of Bethel Park territory.
Yeah, I mean, this defensive unit's going to have to really dig deep now. I mean, you talk about a short field. This is about as short as it gets. Ball marked officially at the 2-yard line.
And I wonder if Don Hall there is saying, kick that ball across the end line. I mean, an illegal kicking in that circumstance is going to lead to 2 points anyway. You might as well do it instead of Pine-Richland getting 6 in the process like they do there on the 2-yard touchdown plunge for Ryan Palmieri.
Yeah, not much to it there. You line up, you just need 2 yards, so there you go. Find the gap, fall forward. As some people say, dead people fall forward farther than that, so pretty easy ask. Those are killers for momentum.
Absolutely. You know, Gateway had reclaimed the feel in this football game, but a snap that carries over the head of the punter, Plaskin. And like we said, it's got to be a circumstance there, Vince, where Plaskin, he just needs to know, get that ball across the end line, give up the 2. You may give the ball back to your opponent, but rely on your defense. Instead, it leads to 7, and now you're down by 7 instead of 2. Talked about the Gateway schedule already. Now it's the Pine-Richland Rams, who are 1-3 on the year. Started the year with 3 straight losses. Kicked off the season week 0 against Harrisburg at the Wolverina, then traveled to Seneca Valley and lost a tight matchup there, 24-20. Lost to Central Catholic 49-35 before beating up on the Upper St. Clair Panthers last week at home. And then it'll be all conference for the Rams after this week's game against the Gators. They host Penn Hills, at Shaler, at North Hills, before hosting Kiski and wrapping up their regular season on the road at Fox Chapel.
With the Kiski Cavaliers sitting at 4-0 on the young season. But again, these are all, 4-0 for Kiski's great. 1-3 for Pine-Richland seems surprising at face value, but you look at that schedule, you look at who they've played. It wouldn't surprise me if Pine-Richland runs the table in that conference with the amount of talent that they have.
Especially when you consider that that's not a very deep conference right now. When you look at it, you really think North Hills and Pine-Richland are the teams to beat. As this kickoff bounces past Birch. Birch is going to have to scoop this one up back near the 10-yard line and then take it out towards the 14 before being brought down by a couple of white jerseys.
Good to see Birch get involved in the passing game, but the return game it's just not been there for him. It's just not been a strength for the young man. He certainly has a lot of skill, a lot of talent, but my goodness.
We saw a lot of this against Thomas Jefferson a couple of weeks ago too.
It's not coming up to get under and catching the punt, letting it roll. We saw that one against TJ where did it or did it not brush his leg, and we disagreed with the officials on the call, but one thing we didn't disagree with is you just got to catch that ball. You can't put yourself in that situation, and time again, Birch has put himself in some really precarious positions in the return game.
Reynolds motions, sidecars to either side of Birch now. Now Brett Birch will motion out of the formation, toss to Brett Birch on that left-hand side. He'll catch it, he'll run his way forward out towards the 20-yard line where he's undercut. Tackle on the play by Cam Wells for Pine-Richland. And a gain on that play of about 6 brings up 2nd down and 4 at the 20.
2nd down.
Well, that's one thing that Gateway, when their drives have stalled, they failed to do is, 1st and 2nd down pickups. You don't have to get all 10. Certainly that's nice, the big plays over the top, but being able to consistently rack up 5-6 yards of play, it's going to get you where you need to go.
Flag comes down as the Gators go to the ground there. Jaquan Reynolds, the ball carrier. And the flag comes in at the feet, I think, of an offensive lineman. And they march off 10 here from the 20. Gateway's going to be pushed back to a 2nd and pretty long. It's going to be against Pine-Richland. Incidental face mask against Pine-Richland, and that's enough for a Gators 1st down. So that's good news for Gateway, not bad news. And like I said, the flag was thrown at the feet. So that's why I thought it was against the offense.
Yeah, you'll take those breaks any way you can get them. Let's take another look here. Reynolds, he has a propensity there. You see it right there. 68 for the Rams. That's going to be Jacob Domer. Big 6'4" guy trying to get low to get Reynolds with that low center of gravity. He's drawn a few of those penalties thus far this year.
Birch, all kinds of time, going to toss it complete to Malachi Moore. Still on his feet as he takes it out across the 40, dragging a white jersey with him to the 41-yard line. Malachi Moore with big strength there, dragging Alex Goches with him.
Yeah, it's been the Malachi Moore show on offense thus far tonight. Not sure I had that one on my bingo card, but he's been phenomenal. We saw the one-handed grab, snatching the ball out of the sky there. Positions himself well right between 3 defenders, and Birch, a great throw there to put that right on the money in between all those white jerseys. Good yards after the catch there.
2 receivers and a wing to the left as Birch drops back, looks right. Now he's going to toss it to Bodie. They grabbed a hold of Bodie's jersey, but no flags fly as it happened pretty early. And you can see Don Hall looking for the grab. Donnie Hall, the assistant coach, also saying there was a jersey grab there.
Now let's take another look. I was looking up at the ball a little bit more. There you see Bodie away. So we don't get to see it necessarily on the replay there, but nonetheless, that one was just a little too much on it. It's hard to overthrow a guy like Bodie with the wheels that he has, but certainly still possible.
Yeah, I think Cam Wells grabbed the jersey just long enough to break up his stride. I don't know if he gets there either way, but regardless, could have been a penalty against Pine-Richland. Instead, Gateway is going to take a timeout. Well, thus far, we've seen both of these teams move the ball well on offense, but a special teams error by the Gateway Gators has led to this Pine-Richland advantage. Take a look at the Trib High School Sports Network 5A rankings. Moon #1, Gateway #2, Peters Township #3. South Fayette has bumped their way up into the rankings at #4, and West Allegheny is #5 as the West Day Indians find themselves in those rankings for the first time in a while.
Yeah, you see the 2 undefeated teams, and a lot of those teams all played in what, 4 of the top 5 in the same section? I mean, that's going to be an absolute gauntlet for those teams over there. So it's not the Northeast. It's not the Big East. Help me out. Which one?
That's
is
the
it?
Allegheny 6.
The Allegheny 6. That's going to be tough. Because I mean, outside of there, you have Upper St. Clair, Bethel Park, other teams that traditionally field some pretty strong teams.
Moore will settle as a wing to the right. 2 receivers to the left. Bodie to the short side right. Handoff Reynolds. Finds a crease. Carries it forward. Out across the 45. He'll be brought down at around the 47-yard line as Alex Gochis gets involved in the tackle for the Pine-Richland Rams.
Good to finally see some traction there with the run game, and I hope they stick with that in the early downs because Reynolds has proven throughout the season, and especially against Penn Hills, to be one of those guys that heats up as the game goes on. He's so physical, he's so tough for his size, and he just continues to punish you as the night goes on.
3rd down and about 3 as the Gators go to the ground. Hesitation by Reynolds, and he'll be met in the backfield. Nowhere to go as Reynolds ran right into the back of Malachi Moore. And a loss of a few on that play. And instead of 4th and manageable, now the punt unit has to come on. A lot of pressure on Carson Engelke as well as Cole Plaskin to connect well on this long snap to the punter. Gateway missing a good bit of personnel on this punt unit. Finally run them out late. Still a few seconds to go on this play clock, though, fortunately. Good snap to Plaskin, and Plaskin will get a beauty away. As this one will carry to the far sideline and will dribble to that far boundary where it is scooped up by a Gator.
That looked like it hit a player today.
Yeah, I thought it may have hit the Pine-Richland player over there.
Did everyone just sort of miss that? Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we get a good look at it on the replay if it caroms off of the foot of one of the blockers before Engelke ran over there and downed the ball.
I mean, it looked like it clearly hit someone because it didn't hit the ground and took a big bounce backward. I don't know.
I mean, unless there was a lot of English on the ball on its way to the turf. Yeah, it did at least look like it may have caromed off of a leg of not the return man, but one of the guys blocking for Pine-Richland. But it'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams, shy of the 30 at the 28-yard line. Pine-Richland leading Gateway 14-7 with 8:34 to play here in quarter number 2. Boyd tosses it to the near side left, sliding through a tackle and picking up positive yards is Brooks Eastburn. As Eastburn shed the first tackle and then slid out across the 30 to around the 32.
You see here, Harper reads the play. He knows what's happening, but just over pursues. Could have blown that one up in the backfield, but just got his wheels moving too fast, couldn't slow down in time to make the tackle.
Instead, Aiden Smith has to make the tackle after a gain of about 4, bringing up 2nd down and 6. This time the Rams going to go to the ground. Great ball fakes there by the QB for the Rams. And Brooks Eastburn with the carry. Big gap over left tackle there before Engelke makes the tackle across the 45 at the 46-yard line.
If he doesn't, I don't know that anyone does. Take another look. He gets the outside, something we haven't seen too much this season. Usually the Gators able to keep things inward. Oh, my goodness. A huge hit. You see the ball carrier there lose his helmet on the carry. That's Eastburn again. He got walloped.
Yeah, Brooks Eastburn, the ball carrier, got hit very hard. Several Gators in the vicinity, including Remy Bowes. Brooks over there as well for Gateway. 2nd down and 8 after that gain of 2 for Brooks Eastburn after he pays the price on that carry. So I think Eastburn went to the sidelines as now Ryan Palmieri is the tailback next to the QB Boyd. Boyd tosses to the near side left, and that pass is complete to Andrew Mellis. And Mellis is forced out of bounds by Elijah Heller. Pickup of a couple to the midfield stripe brings up 3rd down and 6.
Boy, is Boyd quick with that ball. Pulls it up, gets it out, slings it quick, gets it over to his receivers quick. And seen a couple times tonight. Good job there in pursuit. Good job tackling. Heller always very consistent. But we've seen a couple times where it seems like the receiver gets the ball before the defense really even knows what's going on, and then 10, 15 yards downfield, someone has to make a tackle before it's gone.
Rams motion a wing to the right-hand side. Run blitz by Aiden Smith. He was all over it. Boy, Aiden Smith saw that one coming a mile away. I don't know if it was called or not, but he knew it was coming, and he made the play in the backfield.
That was spectacular. He timed that up. Look at that. He's already in the backfield by the time the ball gets to the carry. You see a fumble there. I mean, he just blew that play up. You could tell he took off about a second or two before that ball was snapped. He read every part of that play perfectly.
So 4th and 10, the Rams have the offense on the field. Now they're going to go with the pooch punt. And a beauty, to say the least, for Colton Boyd, as this will take a bounce in favor of the Pine-Richland Rams. I'm not sure if it hit off the hand of Bradford Gelly out near the 20, but the officials say it did not. No illegal touch by Gelly near that 20-yard line. We'll take another look at this one. Well, it looked like it may have actually hit the hand of Gelly, because if it is illegally touched there by the punt team, it would be at the 19. But the officials certainly have a better angle and vantage point than we do, so that ball will roll down inside of the 10. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Gators at the 8.
Something about those punts this evening. They've been hitting the turf in all sorts of weird ways, making it hard for us to tell up here in the booth. Once again, though, Pine-Richland winning the field position game thus far. Gateway got to go 92 yards on this drive to pay dirt.
Birch in the shotgun, sidecar to his right, motions left. Birch going to toss it as the pass is deflected. It was intended for more, but it was deflected by a D lineman at the line of scrimmage. I think it may have been Jacob Domer, the 6'4", 290-pound D lineman who made the play.
Hey, you talk about by the time he gets his hands up and free, I mean, it's going to be hard to throw the ball over that. Birch is tall, but not super tall. He's 6 foot flat. So that certainly poses some issues there. See if they throw one out wide this time to circumnavigate that. Got to pick up some yards, though, here. Timeout by Gateway. Don't want to have another 3rd and long inside your own 10-yard line.
So Don Hall wants to talk things over here. 6:25 to play in quarter number 2. Gateway trailing Pine-Richland 14-7. Good to have you along with us here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And Vince, as we take a look at this football game thus far, it's been a lot of big plays for both of these teams, and one big mistake for Gateway leading to some points for the Pine-Richland Rams.
I mean, that's been the difference, right? That turnover off of the punt to put them up at the 2-yard line. Pine-Richland just had to literally fall forward, go around a QB sneak. Instead, they give it to the halfback, Palmieri. He finds his way into the end zone, and so now Gateway's got to find a way. You know, they've been punched, they're down by a score, got to find a way to regroup. But if there's one offense I'm putting money on to be able to get themselves back into a game, it's this offense down on the field with the amount of playmakers they have. So
Gateway coming out of the timeout. Let's see what they can do here on 2nd down and 10. 2 receivers and a wing to the right. Birch in the shotgun. Straight drop back. Looks right, throws right, complete to Reynolds. And a great job there by Brett Birch to kind of sag forward and draw the eyes of the defenders, thinking it was just an overthrown pass from Brad Birch to Brett Birch. Instead, the pass completed to the sneaky running back out of the backfield, the diminutive Jaquan Reynolds with the catch and the Gators' 1st down out towards the 25.
Great play call and great execution by both parties there. Reynolds a sneaky option. That's his 13th reception. He's over 200 yards receiving. He's a viable receiver out there outside of the backfield.
2 receivers left. Birch tosses to the right for Jaquan Reynolds. That pass a bit too high. Didn't have a lot of real estate in front of him without any white jerseys in the way. So the incomplete pass going to stop the clock with 5:55 to play in the 2nd quarter. The Rams up by 7. The Gators facing a 2nd and 10 at the 26.
Just a little high on that one as Reynolds was still sort of flaring out. He had to try and go up kind of awkwardly there. But we've seen them set him up on some bubble screens a number of times, and he's been able to really make hay with those. He's got good hands. 2 receivers left, one to the short side right as Reynolds motions out of the formation. Now it's going to be tossed over there to that left-hand side for Malachi Moore, and Malachi Moore out towards the 45 before shoved back by a couple of white jerseys. But Malachi Moore, the tight end who's playing kind of an H-back, a wing today, has really made an impact. He has already his 4th reception on the night. Most of them have gone for first down yardage. He's gotten down the field, good awareness to get himself past the sticks, so by the time he's caught the ball, he's already got a first down. He can just kind of pile up some gravy there, those yards after the catch. Every coach loves those, receiver loves those, and the quarterback especially loves those.
2 receivers left, 2 to the near side right. To the ground go the Gators. Hole for Reynolds closes quickly, but he picks up positive yardage before being brought down by Haslett.
And that's going to be the key. Can the Gators get a good push and gain yardage on 1st and 2nd down? Where we've seen drives go sideways for the Gators, it's because they're ending up in 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 15 within that range. And then they've really got to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get that first down. But when you're sitting here at 2nd and 5, things are a lot easier. You can breathe a little bit more. There's not as much pressure.
Short slot to the left, wing to the right, toss to Reynolds, and well, I think the Gators kind of dodged a bullet there with that incomplete pass to Reynolds, because all over Reynolds was Connor Lenz, and if Reynolds catches that one, it's a loss of 5 or 6. Instead, the incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and a much more manageable 4.5.
Yeah, that's a pretty fortuitous drop there, Adam. I couldn't agree more. That field position and heck, who knows who even hangs on to that one if he's able to make a football move with it. He got smacked.
Play clock down to 10. Donnie Hall calling in the play, and the Gators will settle in with 5 on the play clock. Gators get the snap off. Pass to the near side is intercepted. It was looking for Birch. Brett Birch was looking. The pass was intended for Brett Birch, rather, and instead it's intercepted by Brad Ansel. And I really think in that play, the play clock winding down, got in the head of Brad Birch, and he tried to force it into somebody he's comfortable with, his brother Brett.
Yeah, airmailed that one the full way, and it was a good play there by Ansel. Good job to jump that route, good awareness, and that's one that Birch is going to want to have back clearly, because it certainly felt avoidable there. And that's a tough one there. 7th interception on the season for Birch. And once again, the Rams go, setting up shop in offensive territory. And Gators defense, 4:42 left in the half. Got to dig deep here. You don't want to go down 2 scores going into the half.
Gateway was moving the ball well, got it out towards the midfield stripe after starting that drive at their own 8. But the interception thrown by Birch, and now it's the Rams with the ball at the Gators 42. Stepping up into the pocket is Boyd. Boyd tosses it all the way down inside of the 10 to around the 6-yard line. Somehow Gochis just got away from a Gator back there in Patrick Bodie. And this will be 1st and goal for the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The one guy you think you're really leaning on there is your D1 prospect, the Cincinnati guy. And not to say that he's infallible and can do no wrong, but my goodness, Gochis just went up and got that one.
A flag out of the pocket of the referee. So to compound things, it'll be half the distance from the end of that play, which is the 5, and the ball will be moved inside of the 3 to the 2.5.
Yeah, I saw Matthew Brooks come in and get a good shot, but I didn't know that there was head contact.
Boyd, no, that's Paul Mary as the quarterback, and he will take it into the end zone for a Pine-Richland touchdown. And I'll tell you what, Vince, if you're the Gateway Gators, you've got to anticipate that after the takeaway, Pine-Richland is going to go for a big play. That is traditionally what teams like to do, go for the big home run strike after a turnover. So Pine-Richland did that, and then one play later it's Paul Mary into the end zone, and Pine-Richland has claimed a 13-point lead. The PAT up and coming for Joey Perry, and if that's good, the Gators are down by 14. Slow snap, and the kick will carry up and inside of the upright, and good. And with 4:27 to play here in quarter number 2, Pine-Richland on top of Gateway 21-7 as the Rams, I don't know that PAT was good, but it's only 1 point. If it comes back to be a factor later, it's something to take note of. But right now, the Gators are down by 14 points, and it's been set up by a couple of big plays by the Pine-Richland Rams. A takeaway by Pine-Richland on an ill-advised pass by Brad Birch, and then, of course, the snap that carried over the head of the punter Plaskin. Instead of him kicking it out of bounds and taking the 2 points, instead it ends up being first and goal for the Rams, and they score their second touchdown on a short field.
Yeah, I mean, you want to beat the other team, but you can't beat yourself, and that's something that defines these games between two excellent programs. Is the room for error is so razor thin, and on both turnovers, on both mistakes that the Gateway Gators have made. And that's all they made is 2 mistakes tonight. Otherwise, they've played fairly well, offensively and defensively. But now you see both of those getting translated into points, and the difference in this game, that's what good teams like Pine-Richland are going to do. They're going to make you pay when you make mistakes.
Joey Perry's kickoff bounces into the hands of Brett Birch at the 20. Across the 25, finds some room across the 30. Still on his feet out towards the 40-yard line where he's brought down from behind. And I'd have to say that's the best kick return of the season for Brett Birch.
It was. Good job there letting things develop, followed his blockers, followed that wall out toward the sidelines, then just made a cut, used his speed, got good field position, and now you got a little bit of momentum back. You're still a little shell-shocked here, down 14 at home, but you got a chance to get some points before the half, and Adam, I really think that's crucial. We saw against Thomas Jefferson going into the locker room down a few scores at the half, and they finally got the offense rolling at the late stages of third quarter, early fourth, but they ran out of time. Here, let's get some points on the board. Give yourself a shot to get back into this early in the third.
Trips left. The Gators go to play action. The pass complete to Brett Birch. He gets hit hard, but he'll hold on to the football. A big hit there by Ryan Palmieri, but Brett Birch holds on to the ball, and it's 1st and 10 for Gateway inside of Rams territory.
He took a lick there from Palmieri. Palmieri tried to dap him up, give him a little respect. I'm sure there's a little trash talk in between there. But, man, that's an excellent grab there by the receiver, Birch. That's tough.
Yeah, Palmieri had something to say after the play and then tried to give a high five to no avail. Now Brad Birch showing some wheels. He's inside of the 40, approaching the first down flag, as it's a pickup of 9 for Bradley Birch, showing some ability to run with the football in his hands.
Wheeling and dealing. That was a heck of a run, making a few guys miss, putting his head down and getting toward the marker. We have not seen that from Brad Birch yet this season. He's had a couple decent runs, but he looked like a bona fide ball carrier there. That was awesome.
So 2nd down and 1 for the Gateway Gators. The line to gain the 37, the ball right around the 38. Birch in the shotgun. Now Brett Birch, they'll feign the pitch to him. Instead, they'll toss it out across the middle where it is caught by Inez Jordan. Jordan gets hit hard, knocked to the deck, but it's a first down for the Gators at the 31.
Clearly the drills they're running throughout the week for these combat catches are paying off. That's 2 in a row where good focus, good concentration, pull that ball into your body and take it to the turf as you get that contact.
So 1st and 10 for Gateway, the ball at the 30. The line to gain, obviously, the 20. The clock winding, under 3 minutes to play. 10 on the play clock as Birch settles in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Birch off of play action, and the pass is intercepted, rather. He was looking for Inez Jordan, but somehow that pass was intercepted by Hasley, the 6'3 senior.
It looked like he got tipped at the line of scrimmage. It looked like that ball got altered. Take another look.
Yeah, it
did.
Okay. Good eye by you, Vince. I saw when Birch tossed it, I saw Inez Jordan open, and then obviously that tip pass is what led to the INT. And Don Hall giving an earful to his quarterback, Bradley Birch, there.
That's a tough break. I mean, the mistakes have just been killer for Gateway. They're moving the ball, but they're giving their defense short fields work. Well, here now they finally, kind of flip the field position at least a little bit, but you don't come away with any points.
Yeah, it felt like the momentum had shifted back towards the near sideline, but that interception will certainly change things, at least from the field perspective, as that pass is complete, and into open territory goes Jeremiah Hasley, and he will finally be brought down inside of the 45 at around the 43-yard line. So Hasley with the INT. And he catches the football on the ensuing play and takes it into Gators territory.
the Duke recruit. You can see there the size and the speed, the athleticism to get the ball down the field. That was a nice catch and nice run.
Broken play here for the Pine-Richland Rams, and Colton Boyd is able to make something out of nothing, picking up a yard or two down towards the 41-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And for the Gators, you got to dig deep here. Try to come up with your own turnover, come up with a play that's going to flip this field, flip the momentum again.
2nd and 8, Gateway with the blitz. Toss to that right-hand side. Room for Eastburn. He's still on his feet inside of the 30. A flag comes down, and this is going to negate a big play for the Rams, a touchdown. And now some pushing and shoving as the play expires. Patrick Bodie gets involved in the post-play extracurriculars. But the flag down, and I think this is going to go against Pine-Richland. So the ball will be placed 10 yards from the spot of the foul. The spot of the foul at around the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. You can see a couple of Gators just getting tackled there. Before taking it to the house was Brooks Eastburn, but the flags came in, and pretty much everybody on the field knew that play was going to be negated by penalties.
So you get pushed back a little bit now. Now for the Gators, got to make a play. You're getting into 2nd, hopefully 3rd and long territory. See some of these DBs, Heller, even Engelke back there, Bodie. Try and jump. Don't let anyone behind you. Jump a pass, flip the field, see what they can do here. That's a big break for the Rams offense. It's been clicking.
Bunch to the left, one receiver right. Going to the ground, Palmieri, the ball carrier. Nowhere to go for Palmieri as the stop is made by Asante Martin, the defensive end for the Gateway Gators. Also involved in the stop is Remy Bowes.
Be interesting to see how adventurous the Rams get here. Up 14, you've had most of the momentum. You've played a mistake-free half. See if they try and test this secondary here for the Gators and throw one deep.
3rd and long. To the air go the Rams. And the pass is incomplete. Carson Engelke did a good job of setting his feet and kind of allowing Mellis to get behind him. I think had Engelke had another second, he could have broken on that ball and tried to get it on the INT. He's got such a nose for the football on that defensive side. But right now, Pine-Richland has it at the midfield stripe. 4th down and 17, the line to gain at the 33.
See if they go with the pooch punt again. The last one was a beauty from Boyd. Can't imagine you want to give Gateway such a short field.
And that's exactly what the Rams will do. This one, not a beauty, as it goes sky high, and everybody yelling Peter down on that field level. And it will be 1st and 10 for Gateway at the 34-yard line, so manageable field position.
And crisis averted. I mean, you were driving down the field, you turn the ball over. Pine-Richland's rolling along now. You get the ball at about your own, 35-yard line. You got about a minute to go, and you have a timeout in your back pocket with some explosive playmakers. This is that situational football you practice every week. See if they can get some points on the board here, pull back within a score before the half.
Twins to either side. Birch, play action. Has time. Now he's going to step up. He's going to run to the left-hand side. He's got the first down and more. Inside of Rams territory to the boundary. So not only the clock will stop for the first down, but Birch gets out of bounds. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Gators inside of Rams territory at the 43.
Good job by Dallas Harper getting downfield, sealing the edge there. Beautiful move by Birch. My goodness, he's been their best ball carrier so far tonight, and that's saying something because Reynolds is quite the talent. That was a beautiful run.
Reynolds, the ball carrier. He'll wiggle his way forward towards the 35-yard line, and Gateway's going to use their final timeout with 38 seconds on the clock here. So Don Hall going to talk things over with his Gators offense. And obviously this is a good time to use the timeout, but you've got to wonder, Vince, prior to the Rams last touchdown. Should that have been the time where Don Hall used the timeout? You know, the play clock was waning, and there was a lot of pressure on the sophomore quarterback, Brad Birch. It led to an interception, which led to Pine-Richland points.
Yeah, it's hard to look back in hindsight and make those calls. I mean, the offense was humming along. You know, you could argue that would have disrupted the momentum. They were looking great. And honestly, that interception was, you know, maybe a bad decision by Birch, but also a batted ball. And when that happens, it's anything goes.
That's not the interception I'm referring to. I'm referring to the one that was here inside of Gators territory, not the one where Hasley had it, the one where Birch was pressured, the play clock winding down.
Yeah.
He tried to force it into his brother Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to put your signal caller in positions to feel comfortable and not have that mental clock sped up. We've seen time and time again on the other side of things when Gateway is able to apply pressure at that defensive line, quarterbacks like Max Blank last week for Bethel Park getting out of rhythm.
Two receivers right, one to the far side left. Birch rolling to the right, settles his feet, tosses to that far side. It's in and out of the hands of Jaquan Reynolds. Pass got hung up in the air just a bit, and that allowed Max Eckert, the linebacker, to get back there and get involved in the play and maybe throw off the concentration of Jaquan Reynolds.
It did. That worked out really well. I don't know if that's how necessarily things were designed. You do see Birch's eyes going that way for a majority of the play. But yeah, that one just hung for a little too long, and things closed up in a hurry there for Reynolds.
Yeah, but you know, you've got to give Brad Birch credit there. He was throwing across his body, right-handed quarterback throwing to his left as he rolls to his right, and still got it on the mark, just hung up a little bit too much air towards Reynolds. Now Reynolds settles right. Brett Birch motions from left to right. Stepping up into the pocket, Brad Birch. He's going to heave-ho it towards Bodie, and it's too high for Bodie. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3 for Gateway with 25 seconds to go here in quarter number 2.
Sure put all of the gusto behind that one. A heck of a lot of zip on that, but just airmailed that one, sailed it beyond everyone there toward the sidelines.
And Inez Jordan was wide open towards the middle of the field. He was at the hash as Bodie was along the sideline. So now it's 4th down and 3 for Gateway. Line to gain is the 33-yard line. Birch straight drop back, going to toss it to Harper. Harper's got the first down and more with blockers in front of him. Inside of the 20, still on his feet, inside of the 15 to around the 14-yard line. Gators got to get to the ball here, spike it, and use some time to their advantage. The ball set. Birch with the spike.
Good hustle. Good hustle. You only lose 4 seconds there. You'll take that. Harper puts you in a position now where you got a fresh set of downs in 13 seconds, and you can throw each of these passes to the end zone. You're at a point now where you can just kind of hopefully get someone crossing, let the play establish itself, and really great execution there.
So Pine-Richland uses a timeout here. Obviously, they want to talk some defensive strategy, because if Gateway scores here, they take a big chunk of momentum into the locker room. They got the defensive stop to the Gators after the most recent interception thrown by Birch, and now the Gators have moved the ball inside of the 15. They find themselves 1st and 10 in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Coach Don Hall, I'm saying, guys, you know, let's say hypothetically they get a score here. We're down 7, or even if they don't, we're down 14. We have one of the most explosive offenses in this side of the state. Let's play within ourselves. Let's cut these mistakes out, because a lot of this has been self-inflicted. They're moving the ball well, and when they don't have a super short field to work with, the defense has made some plays. You got to put everyone in a position to succeed.
1st and goal at the 14. Birch in the shotgun, pressured, wrapped, sacked. That'll probably be the final play of the half, unless Gateway somehow is able to get a quick spike in as the clock is down to 3, 2. And he does get the spike with 1 second. But what a fantastic play by Jalen Clem to get the sack. And now the Gators going to bring on the field goal unit as Cole Plaskett will attempt a field goal, which will be just shy of 40 yards. Inez Jordan will take the knee at the 28, so this will be a 38-yard attempt.
Plaskett hit one from 37, and by a decent margin earlier this year.
And Pine-Richland going to take another timeout.
Timeout, Rams.
Certainly you wanted 7, but if you can come away with 3 here, you're still chipping into that lead a little bit. And again, you got a super explosive offense. And then you just got to hang your hat on defense and give yourself a chance here in the second half.
Seems like Pine-Richland, every time Gateway starts to get things going, they make a big play, whether it's the tipped pass, the interception off of the tipped pass. That the big sack by Jalen Clem.
Well, they're the defending state champs for a reason. Certainly we know there's been a lot of change in a lot of different areas for this program, but they still are a school district that has a ton of athletes, a ton of talent, and a lot of guys that were sort of waiting in the wings for their opportunity to step up and make plays, and they're doing it tonight so far. They've really been excellent.
Yeah, these guys are a well-coached bunch, not just this year, but throughout their careers, as they have been younger players, now starters. So again, Plaskin with a field goal attempt of 38 yards out of the hold of Inez Jordan. Good snap, good hold. That kick is blocked, and it's going to be scooped up. Well, no, it's still loose, and then Gateway will finally cover it up. But the blocked field goal, and Cam Wells couldn't scoop it up for Pine-Richland. And boy, do the Rams take more momentum into the locker room after Gateway got that ball inside of the 15-yard line. Instead, it is going to be Pine-Richland taking a 14-point lead into the locker room as Plaskin is shaken up, having a tough time staying on one of those 2 feet. So he's trying to hop it off and head to the locker room. But boy, Vince, a rough first half for the Gateway Gators after this looked to be a game that was going to go back and forth. A couple of big plays as Pine-Richland took advantage of Gateway mistakes, and they take this 14-point advantage into the mid-game break.
I think you summed it up perfectly, Adam. Every time that Gateway's been able to land a blow, Pine-Richland has turned around and sucker punched them right back, and they've played incredibly well. They've made timely plays. They've been very disciplined. They haven't made any mistakes. A couple holding penalties that called back 1 touchdown, but they've continued to execute. They've continued to play well. And Gateway, they've got to find a way to minimize the mistakes and just stay within themselves. The offense is moving the ball, but we've seen that a couple times this year against good teams. They can't punctuate these drives, and when you get later in the season and you're playing top-tier opponents in the playoffs, you've got to be able to finish. That's the name of the game.
We invite you to stay tuned for halftime. It'll be the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show with Don Rebel and Chris Harlan. Then it'll be the Gateway Marching Band for Vince Russo and our entire group. I'm Adam Gusky. We'll talk to you again in the second half.
Getting their first experience with the marching band as they are the future of the program. We are thrilled to present a few of our stand tunes this evening as our middle school musicians play along with us. Now, under the direction of drum majors Ashwarya Krishnamurthy and Rebecca Wheeldon, please welcome the Gateway High School Marching Band and members of the Mosside Middle School Band. Gateway High School Marching Band is under the direction of Mr. James Helchie, with assistance from Sean McMasters, Dave Burno, and Ryan Moser. The Mossad Middle School Band is under the direction of Mrs. Kelly Cornelius and Mr. Sean McMasters. Please join us after the game as the marching band presents a post-game performance of the 2021 competitive show, Shine On.
Set to begin the third quarter between the Gateway Gators and the Pine-Richland Rams. Gateway trailing Pine-Richland 21-17 at halftime as Pine-Richland in the first half takes advantage of a couple of Gateway miscues. First of all, a punt snap that carries over the head of Cole Plaskin leads one play later to a Pine-Richland touchdown. An interception thrown by Brad Birch. One play later, Pine-Richland has the ball inside of the 5. You tack on a roughing the passer penalty, moving the ball to the 2.5, and into the end zone goes Paul Mary on the ensuing play. And all of a sudden, Pine-Richland has a 21-7 lead. The Gators offense moves the ball inside of the 15 to the 14. And a sack by Jalen Clem forces Gateway to spike the ball with 1 second to go. They race on Plaskin, and his field goal attempt is blocked. And that's how we see Pine-Richland hold a 14-point lead on the Gators. As we are back underway here in half number 2. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Mellis on the return for Pine-Richland. Tackle made by Amari Haynes for the Gators, and it will be first down and 10 for Pine-Richland across their own 25 to the 28.
Good to see Plaskin back out there for the opening kick. It looked like he had sustained an injury to his kicking leg after that blocked field goal, but able to come out and give that one the boot. Now it is time to see if this defense can generate a turnover. It's been the Rams generating the turnovers all night. A few interceptions from Birch, as you had mentioned, the snap over the head. See if the Gators can conjure up something, create a short field for themselves, just get some sort of momentum going, finally take the lid off of this defense that's kept them off of the board since the first quarter.
Trips left for the Rams from their own 28. Quarterback running to this near side left is Boyd. Boyd finds the edge and is shoved out of bounds, picking up positive yardage. Demetrius Harper will be credited with the tackle, but it'll be a gain of about 4 on that play, as it initially looked like Boyd was going to be met in the backfield by Brooks, but some wheels there by the QB leads to a positive gain for the Rams.
I don't know if Harper just didn't get his head around quick enough. Normally, he's the one initiating contact. He's physical. It took him a second to break away from that receiver, though, and by the time he did, quarterback had the angle.
Again, it's going to be Boyd, the quarterback, keeping it. This time he has nowhere to go, as this time Matthew Brooks makes the play in the backfield. Angle K also getting involved in that tackle for the Gators. A loss of a couple on that play brings up 3rd down and 8.
Good job by the Gators, creating a 3rd and long situation. Stop here, a 3-and-out would be huge to get this offense back on the field.
Trips right, one receiver to the left-hand side. Boyd throwing to that right, and the pass is short, intended for Hasley. Hasley, future Duke Blue Devil, couldn't catch that one, and the full punt unit comes on for Pine-Richland for the first time today.
We'll see if Birch makes some adjustments here. We talked about this is an area where Gateway has struggled fielding punts, putting themselves in position to have good field position. We've seen some turnovers come out of this unit. They're going to need a good return here, or at least to take care of the ball.
Good snap. Heller got there, and I think at minimum Heller got in the head of the punter for Pine-Richland, and Gateway will have the ball inside of Rams territory at around the 43-yard line, and as usual, Heller gets involved in a special teams play for Gateway.
That's how he really made a name for himself last year, along with getting some sort of garbage time snaps on defense. He's one of those guys last year that just any time they plugged him in, he was someone you noticed out there. And he's continued that this year, being a starter on defense, being a contributor. Already 2 block punts, almost a 3rd there tonight. And more importantly, the Gators, for the first time tonight, I think, have the ball on the right side of the field to start a drive. And if you're going to get yourself back into this one, this is the drive to go down, punctuate a drive, and say, okay, this is our half now.
Birch in the shotgun, twins to the right, two to the left as well. Birch steps up into the pocket, lost the football, and then covers it back up. He stepped up into the pocket to avoid the pressure coming from outside, and then stepping up inside was a Pine-Richland Ram to make the play. And a loss of a handful there brings up 2nd down and 15.
I thought Jalen Klemner on the outside might have come across a little early, but credit to him, much like Aiden Smith did earlier, he just read that snap perfectly and was able to get into the backfield and disrupt that play before things could even get going.
Big, tall, strong defensive line for Pine-Richland, and it showed there. Samuel Green ended up making the play. Birch steps up, tosses to this near side, and flags fly from everywhere. And if this is holding against the Gators, it's going to be 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and that spot of the foul is 5 yards deep, make it 6 yards deep in the backfield. So we're going to go from 2nd and 15. Subtract 6 from that, it's 2nd and 21, and then add 10 to that, it's 2nd and 31.
And what a microcosm of what's happened tonight for the Gators. Every time they've had an opportunity to take a step forward in this game, to either take the driver's seat early on or now trying to at least get themselves back into the race here, they've self-inflicted wounds. And credit due to Pine-Richland. Their defensive line has been a handful tonight. They have been incredibly physical. They've been disruptive, and we see the product of that now.
So this 2nd down and 31, the Gators go to the ground. It's Reynolds breaking it to the left. He's got a lot of greenery in front of him. He'll take it back inside of Rams territory, and it's 3rd and much more manageable, though still 3rd and very long.
Yeah, at least give yourself a shot now to connect with one of your playmakers deep across the middle, or maybe you try and find someone in the seam. We've had Malachi Moore, Brett Birch kind of in that middle area, see if they can't find one of those guys. Again, we haven't seen that deep ball to Patrick Bodie connect yet. That's been a big part of their success this season. See if they can unlock that, get that big play going.
3rd and 18 with a line to gain the 32. Birch, play action. Pressured, rolls right, tosses it complete. It's complete to Dallas Harper, but only a gain of 2 on the play. That'll bring up 4th down and about 16. Looks like the offense going to stay on the field here. After that gain of 3 to the 47 brings up 4th down and 15.
Well, Coach Don Hall has a lot of trust in his defense, and we've seen that throughout the season, so this is pretty on brand for the Gators. Let's see. Still a pretty long conversion attempt, though.
Birch takes a step back, and again the pooch punt. A beauty. Bounces out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 10.
That's about exactly where we put the last one. That's another bingo square on the card I didn't think we were going to get tonight. A combined 4 pooch punts from the quarterback. They've all done decently well, though. The last one by Boyd didn't go terribly far. Got a little bit of bounce. But that first one by Boyd was excellent. Birch has been money on the 2 that he's corked up.
You got to wonder, a year ago, was Birch the punter for the Jeanette Jayhawks with the way he's able to kick the ball?
You know, I get teased for the amount of research I do. That's one thing that fell through the cracks this week. I didn't find out that. Wouldn't surprise me, though.
Trips, bunch to the right. Now Pine-Richland going to settle and look to the sideline for the play. One receiver to the near side left as the play clock's down to 2. High snap, Boyd tosses it right. Was it a lateral pass? If it was, it's going to be a loss on the play. If it was a forward pass, it'll just be an incomplete pass. And now the official on the far sideline, after walking back and spotting, then decides it's an incomplete pass. And the referee says it's not my call. As we take a look at our replay here, that looked like a forward pass to me, with the quarterback Boyd standing at around the 4 and the pass being tossed to the 5.
It did, and good consistency. I mean, we saw that on a Reynolds pass into the flat earlier, so good to see that call be consistent on both sides.
2 receivers right, 1 to the near side left, tight end on the right of the formation as well. High snap as the Rams are going to go to the ground, and this time nowhere to go for Eastburn, as he is met at the line of scrimmage and brought down after a short gain. Remy Bose on the tackle. Gain of 2 on that play brings up 3rd down and 8.
3rd down, 8.
Yeah, broken play, just try and get what you can there. Run forward, north-south. able to pick up at least a little bit, but still another 3rd and long. Gators have done a good job forcing the Rams into a couple of those here to start.
Good read by Bose to make that play defensively. Now a pass tipped. Oh my goodness, Aiden Smith had that one tear him off of his shoulder pads, and it'll be incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down and 8, and the punt unit will come back on yet again for Pine-Richland.
Smith not known for the soft hands there, but man, he could have really flipped the field there if he would have been able to come away with that one, but it looked like he just got his head around just a little too late and bonked him right on the head there. Now it's Pine-Richland feeling a little bit of pressure on the special teams, so they see an errant snap. They got to get this one off cleanly in the shadow of their own end zone.
A lot of pressure on the snapper. Good snap. Punter runs to his right. A knuckler, a low one that'll bounce into the hands of Birch. Birch catches it on the run to the 40, to the 35 before being driven back by a bunch of white jerseys. And that's that attack we were talking about, Vince. Birch going after the football as it's bouncing towards him.
It's like playing shortstop, right? You got to get up aggressively, confidently, field that ball, just make the play. And Birch does it there. He gets it, goes up the field quickly, understands he's playing with house money. The further he gets, better field position to start with on the right side of the 50, and sets them up here again. Excellent field position for the 2nd time here in the early going. Just got a lot of time left on the clock. This is a golden opportunity for the Gators to get themselves back into this one.
2 receivers to either side. Motion man is Malachi Morris. He'll settle as a wing to the right. Birch in the shotgun. Straight drop back. Dumps it off. Bodie on the wide receiver screen. Can't shed a tackler. And that'll be a gain of 1. The official's going to say no gain on the play. I don't know how that's humanly possible, as Bodie caught the ball, had his feet at the 35, and leaned forward to the 34.
Yeah, not a great spot there. See him catch it, get at least a yard. So, and all those yards count. You gotta be on top of that one. He's staring right at it. You gotta be a little more with that.
So no gain officially brings up 2nd and 10. Pass to Moore, too strong, and that incompletion brings up 3rd down and 10. That was a well-designed play on 1st down, having Bodie swing through the traffic, catch the football, and had he broken that one tackle, he may have been off to the races. But instead he was tackled for what appeared to be a 1-yard gain, a no-yard gain ultimately, and then the incompletion brings up 3rd down and 10.
Bodie averages 20 yards a reception. Not too common to see the first guy bring him down.
Birch pulls it out of the belly of Reynolds and tosses it off to Brett Birch. That play wasn't going to go very far regardless of if Brett Birch catches that football, because racing over was Brandon Ansel for Pine-Richland, and he would have made the play easily. It would have been maybe a gain of 1 or 2.
I never understand throwing the ball east-west laterally on a 3rd and long situation. You really don't give yourself a chance. And I'm not surprised that they're keeping the offense out here. I think this is absolutely the right call with the ball at the 35-yard line.
Bodie the motion man. Play action. Birch brought down, sacked. Running up his back, Ryan Corey for Pine-Richland. Turnover on downs, and it will be Rams football on the midfield stripe side of the 40. And like you said, yeah, Birch did get up a little slow.
You got a big guy rolling through here, and he just falls right onto him. I mean, you talk about the guy registering here. That's Ryan Corey. He's 275 pounds. I don't care how big you are. You got a 275-pound lineman just falling right on top of you. It's going to leave a mark. It's going to hurt a little bit.
Left guard there was Christopher Horton, and he had a tough time dealing with Ryan Corey, the defensive lineman. To the air go the Rams. The pass down the near sideline is incomplete. The intended receiver for Pine-Richland was Gelly. Gelly, who caught the first touchdown of the game for Pine-Richland. In coverage, Kenny Lewis, and that time the height didn't play a factor in the result of that play.
No, he was excellent there. He was in lockstep with Galley, gets his head around, good coverage, and ultimately the ball a little bit overthrown, so not really, more of a moot point, but still good to see Lewis right there with him after letting up the touchdown earlier.
Trips on the right of the formation. Rams going to go to the air. Andrew Mellis trying to make something out of nothing as Gateway sniffed out that Wide receiver screen over to the right-hand side very quickly. And the tackle made by Lewis for Gateway, and a loss on that play of 1, maybe 1.5, brings up 3rd down and about a dozen. Clock winding here, 6:52 to go in the 3rd quarter. Pine-Richland on top of Gateway, 21-7. Neither team has scored here in the 2nd half. Straight drop back for Boyd. Going to toss it down that right seam. Diving catch by Gochis. Yes, he catches that one. Step-for-step coverage by Patrick Bodie. But Gochis with the catch. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 27.
What an incredible effort. A great pass. You see just laying out for it. To be able to catch that's one thing. To be able to haul it into your body and bring it down as you're colliding with the turf, that takes a lot of concentration, a lot of strength. That was an excellent catch.
Wildcat this time. Palmieri was the QB. I'm not quite sure why we're blowing the play dead here. They're going to say that his forward progress was stopped at the 30 very quickly. I guess that is the call, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 13.
Well, his knee might have been down there,
yeah.
yep.
Looked like he had at least initially sprung up and then picked up the ball, but taking a look at our replay, yep. Gets possession with his knee down. Good job by our crew getting that replay. Again, it's Palmieri and the Wildcat running left. Thought about tossing it, instead will tuck and run, and gets hit hard. Several Gators in the vicinity, and tackle ultimately made by Asante Martin. Gain of a couple brings up 3rd and 11.
For the Gators, you need to be cognizant here. This is 4-down territory unless they decide to bring the kicking team on, but Rams have not converted on a field goal yet this season. So normally on a 3rd down, it's just bend, don't break, but you don't want to give up 8 or 9 here. That'll make it a 4th and short.
2 receivers to either side. High snap. Boyd looks left, throws left, and an attempt at a one-handed catch, but it was a sharp pass towards Hasley, incomplete. Coverage on the play by Demetrius Harper for Gateway, and that'll bring up 4th down and 11.
Another chance to get a big stop here. That was good coverage by Harper there, forcing a difficult adjustment. The receiver, again, having to try and go with a one-handed grab there. Take another look. And Boyd, his numbers didn't really jump off the page coming into this game, but he's really been exceptional thus far in this contest.
Colton Boyd with 10 on the shot, or on the play clock rather, takes a look to the sideline and barks out the play. 3 on the play clock now. Straight drop back, looks right the whole way, throws right. Oh, and it's dropped. Oh, that was a sure 1st down, but thinking about running before he had possession of the ball was Cam Wells, and the turnover on downs, the Gators dodge the proverbial bullet here, and Gateway needs to get some sustained offense going here, and they need to get some points on the board before it's too late.
You got to get 6 at him. I mean, you got to go down. You got to get a touchdown. You've been given a lot of opportunities here. Your defense has done their part. 3 stops here. 2 times you get the ball in enemy territory. Here you're just shy of the 30, still not terrible, but you know you're keeping the other team off the scoreboard. You're giving them a shot, but now it's the offense that's got to do their part. Special teams and defense, they're doing what they got to do.
So it's Boyd in the shotgun. It's going to hand off to Reynolds. Reynolds bouncing it to the left. Now sliding out of a tackle, trying to bounce it back right, and he'll be wrapped and brought down. No gain on the play. A lot of individual effort there by Reynolds. And that's a heady play that you see a maturation process with a sophomore that he makes there that he may not have made 2 weeks ago.
Right. He is someone that's gotten better each and every week. And the numbers have shown that over the past several weeks, including that big 200 all-purpose yard performance against Penn Hills.
So 2nd and 10 for Gateway. Handoff, Reynolds nowhere to go as the Gateway offensive line is starting to give up some significant yardage now.
Sam Green, number 63.
And Sam Green makes the play in the backfield.
That defensive line is just so big.
13.
And that looks like an FCS college defensive line down there. You've got some big hog mollies, and they're disrupting everything. And Birch hasn't had time to throw, and he's given it to Reynolds. Reynolds has been swarmed in the backfield, and they've had no answers.
Birch throws, Bodie catches. They'll get to around the 28. Bring up 4th down and 10, and the punt unit will come on.
And it's not even that they haven't scored on these 3 drives in this second half when they've been given the opportunity. They've been 3 and out every time.
Yeah, they have not been able to move the ball at all here in the second half. We saw Gateway twice move the ball on Pine-Richland before a blocked field goal finished off the half, and prior to that, a turnover finished off a nice drive for Gateway.
And regardless of how this game ends up, that's going to be the main takeaway from this game is how do the Gators polish those things up and take better care of the football.
A little bit of a high snap from Engelke, but Plaskin gets a hold of this one and boots it away. And it'll be fair caught by Palmieri at around the 41-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Pine-Richland Rams with 2:50 to play in quarter number 3.
A decent kick, but still pretty decent field position to start for the Rams.
Taking a look at the Big East Conference. No teams have played conference games, obviously, as we will see conference start next Friday, October 1st. Gateway 3-1. Latrobe and Penn Trafford 2-2. Franklin Regional and Woodland Hills with just 1 win thus far, and Connellsville down at the bottom 0-4. Run to the right-hand side this time for Brooks Eastburn for Pine-Richland, and he's got the 1st down, picking up 11 into Gateway territory. Right now, the defense has got to be gassed. Obviously, there's some 2-way players, but you know that's compounded by the fact that the defense has been out there a good bit, with Gateway not being able to move the football offensively here in the second half. 1 receiver left, 2 to the right. Draw handoff. Eastburn brought down after a gain of about 5.
Smith and Engelke.
Brooks involved in that tackle for Gateway.
6.
And Brooks the first one there. Engelke also getting involved for Gateway.
I'm having fun watching at the top of the screen. Bodie and Gokas are getting after it every play. A lot of John, a lot of physicality, blocking, wrestling all the way, a little after the whistle even sometimes.
2nd and 6, option to the left-hand side. Now Boyd will pitch it. Catching the pitch and running with football, Brooks Eastburn, and Eastburn is brought down. A couple of Gators there, Demetrius Harper, as well as Kenny Lewis, and that is shy of the 1st down marker. Now they're going to, the official on the far side was spotting the ball at around the 40. Now it will be spotted at the 38-yard line, and it will be a 1st down for the Pine-Richland Rams. Line judge on the far side, not having his best evening.
No, not really. I mean, they got the call right ultimately, but yeah, he's had a tough evening.
Trips right, 1 receiver to the near side left. Gateway showed blitz and breached the neutral zone, so even had it been shy of the line to gain, that 5-yard penalty would have been enough for the Rams' 1st down, but now it's going to be 1st and 5 for Pine-Richland at the 33.
This is shaping up to be a potentially back-breaking drive. Gators going to, again, have to go to the well here and try and hang tough for a defense that's no doubt got to be gassed, as you said, Adam. And Pine-Richland's doing this all on the ground, so they're eating the clock up as well.
Straight drop back. Toss to that right-hand side, incomplete. The intended receiver is Andrew Mellis as the flag comes in from the umpire. So this can only go 2 ways, a hold against Pine-Richland or illegal hands to the face against Gateway. Good news for the Gators fans is it will be against the Rams and a holding against the team in white.
Look at her. Top of your screen there, looked like it might have been, I think, number 73, Jake Beam, with the grab there.
Penalty for holding against the Rams.
first down and about 18 for Pine-Richland, as they'll motion twins to either side. And I think Gateway was in the neutral zone. No, they'll say false start against Pine-Richland, so that's going to cost them 5 more.
So we've seen a 2nd and 31 from Gateway. We've seen a 1st and 23 now from Pine-Richland.
So like you said, Vince, 1st and 23, ball now shy of the midfield stripe. Boyd in the shotgun, he's going to hand off. Palmieri running right, nowhere to go as Hunter Dow is in front of him in the backfield. Helping out on the tackle, Remy Bose, but Dow was the first one there on the 2-yard loss.
I can't help but notice as Pine-Richland keeps this ball on the ground, we're inching closer already to the end of the 3rd quarter here, and Gateway's still in dire need of a couple touchdowns. You just got to keep thinking about that clock. I mean, not much you can do right at this second, but every time you let Pine-Richland move the chains on a deep ball, even though they're kind of incrementally going forward, it's just taking more and more time off the clock.
So now it's 2nd down and 25. Handoff, Palmieri, tackled by Brooks. Palmieri will get to the 50, but no further. Gain of about 3 on that play will bring up 3rd down and 22. Like you said, Vince, the clock will continue to wind, and with the way the play clock lines up with the game clock, we're going to head to the 4th quarter with the score the same way it was at halftime.
And if you're the Rams, how could you be anything but incredibly happy about that? Right now, you've got a Gateway offense that's sputtering in the mud. Wheels aren't going anywhere, so you force them, to put the game in their hands. And granted, this is an offense that can go ahead and do that, but they haven't shown it tonight. We'll see if they have it in them. Fell down to the similar territory against Thomas Jefferson. Weren't able to come all the way back. The clock becomes a factor.
Well, Vince, obviously we've seen Gateway play a handful of non-conference games thus far. Next week, it starts to really count as the Gators will host the Latrobe Wildcats. It'll be homecoming here at Pete Anna Marino Stadium, and the first game in conference for Gateway.
Yeah, and I've got to think that the Gators are still the favorites in this conference with push coming to shove. Let's say they can't come back in this one. Your 2 losses are to 2 defending state champs, right? Thomas Jefferson 4A, Pine-Richland 5A. Certainly a lot of different parts on both of those programs, but as we know, those are 2 programs that don't rebuild, they reload. And they've hung in there with them. They're not getting blown out. Clearly, they've got some things they've got to clean up, but you go through all of that now so you can get those things out of the way for conference play. Penn Trafford's still going to be tough. Woodland Hills always seems to play them tough, but I've got my money on the Gators when it comes to conference play.
And you did kind of steal my thunder there. I was going to bring up the fact that, of course, next week Latrobe, but the week after that, a road game against Penn Trafford is going to be a tough test for Gateway, a tough road test for the first time this year.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot about the Gators over the next couple weeks and how they stack up within their own conference. And here's where you make your hay. You have a chance to win a title, bring a trophy back to the school, bring some recognition, and get a good seed for the playoffs.
3rd down and 22 for the Pine-Richland Rams at the 50-yard line. Let's see if the Gateway defense can make a stop here. Twins to either side. There's Boyd in the shotgun, sidecar to his left. Looks left, now steps up into the pocket, flush to his right. He's pressured, hit, and the pass is incomplete. Breaking off of coverage, Jameer Harbor stepping up and putting the pressure on Boyd, and the incomplete pass brings up 4th down and long here, and that's good news. The incomplete pass stops the clock just 7 seconds into the 4th quarter.
Good job by Harbor. I want to give him credit. Not hitting too high, not hitting too low. You've really got to be careful. Anytime you're putting any pressure on the quarterback, we already saw 1 roughing the passer penalty tonight. Good job not taking the flag there and forcing a 4th and very long. Also
good job by Harbor to be confident in the secondary to come up and make that play, as again we will see a pooch punt. This time it's Boyd, and this one a much nicer pooch punt that'll roll to that far sideline at the 14. So Gateway going to face the long field, 86 yards from pay dirt.
Got the playmakers. Can the offensive line get it done? That's really been the story thus far tonight. They've just not been able, especially in that 2nd and 3rd quarter, to give Birch the time to read the field, go through his progressions, and connect downfield.
Taking a look at the Northeast Conference, Kiski 4-0. We talked about them a little bit earlier. All the other teams, Fox Chapel, North Hills, and Shaler, all 2-2. Penn Hills, Pine-Richland at 1-2 and 1-3, respectively. But of course, doesn't really start to matter till next week.
Kiski is leading West Allegheny 7-0 though. 5-0. I don't care who you play. That's still impressive.
Birch to the air, throwing to Brett Birch near side. The pass is incomplete.
A couple different scores of interest to the folks, the Gateway fans back at home. Penn Hills up 21-0 on Upper St. Clair. Bethel Park leading Franklin Regional 21-13. South Fayette up 27-0 on Latrobe. And tell you, 5A looks like it might run through Moon Township, which you don't normally hear. They're up 42-7 on Fox Chapel.
Birch steps up into the pocket, pressured, wrapped, and brought down. The ball came out late, but they will say that Birch is down, and it's Jalen Clem making the play at the line of scrimmage. No gain brings up 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, I was really worried about him losing that ball. Anytime the quarterback gets hit from behind or wrapped up, that's tough. You don't see it coming. You can't really brace yourself. He had that ball out there, but good strength by Birch there to be able to hang on to it. Once again, you got a 3rd and long. Got to convert here. Got to give yourself some time to get the ball downfield.
Birch, the motion man. Now Brad Birch steps up into the pocket, sheds a tackler, scrambles to his left, tucks, pushes his way out towards the 18. But right now, Pine-Richland is swarming on the Gators.
Dominant. I mean, they're just dominating the line of scrimmage. Getting right past there. Nobody really laying much of a finger on Ryan Corey. And I get that these guys are good, but you got to be better than that. You've got to slow them up a little bit. Corey, I mean, he's got some wheels, but you can't let a 6'3", 275-pound guy just skirt right past you. Now you got to punt out of the shadow of your own end zone once again.
Good snap this time by Engelke. Plaskin will get away a beauty. Oh, and Engelke runs into Palmieri. And that's going to move the ball inside of Gators territory.
Flag on the play.
So a mistake there by Engelke from the 49. The ball's going to be moved into Gateway territory as Don Hall has a conversation with Carson Engelke, the Gators safety and long snapper.
I mean, what do you say, Adam? It's been a collection of those little moments tonight that's been the difference in this game. Pine-Richland has played, for the most part, other than that last drive and having a 3rd and 22, pretty mistake-free football on the evening. No turnovers, no huge blunders on special teams. Sure, they got sped up by Heller and had a short punt, but by and large, they've taken care of minding their P's and Q's. And yeah, they only have 21 points on the board, but they've played disciplined and they've played within themselves. That's why they're ahead.
Boyd in the shotgun. Trips to his left, one receiver to the near side right with 10:07 to play here. Obviously, Pine-Richland interested in getting points on the board, but also keeping that clock moving. As this pass is complete over to the left side. Andrew Mellis on the reception, tackled by Elijah Heller.
That's really the odd juxtaposition, right? I mean, another score, and you very likely put this one well out of harm's way. But the more you open up the playbook, the more you slow down the clock with incomplete passes or potentially put yourself in a position to turn the ball over. And I don't know that I'm willing to take too many risks here if I'm the Rams until the Gators can step up and get the ball down the field. But, a 14-point cushion against that Gators offense, even when they're not playing well, it's hard to sit and feel comfortable with that.
Pine-Richland, sidecar to the right-hand side of Boyd. And a nice play by Brooks there to slow down the runner, Eastburn. And then gang of Gators come up and make the tackle. Involved in that stop Demetrius Harper, also in on the stop Remy Bowes. After, like I said, Brooks got there first.
Continuously impressed with this defense. And, when they're tasked with these sorts of situations, they rise to the occasion. We saw it against Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, they let the big plays up. They were out on the field for a majority of the game. But when push came to shove, they made enough plays in the second half to give the offense a chance late in the game to take the lead. Again, they're trying their darndest to do it here. I'm really impressed with how these guys are hanging in there. It's a gutsy effort.
Play action. Boyd tosses it to the left, complete to Gelly. And again, a stop made by Demetrius Harper. And really, Vince, you're spot on with the assessment of this Gateway defense. Save the big touchdown pass play to Gelly, and then a couple of diving catches by Alex Goches. It's really been a Gateway defensive effort that has done everything they can to keep the Gators in this football game.
Well, let's look at that even further, Adam. 2 of the touchdowns that the defense surrendered, they were given an incredibly short field in the goal-to-go situation off the bat, basically an impossible situation to come up with a big-time stop. No margin for error. So you take those drives aside where they had that no margin for error, they've given up 7 points.
Yeah, without a doubt here is Pine-Richland will run the play clock all the way down to 2 and then take the timeout. And yeah, spot on, Vince. You know, the punt snap that carried over the head where, you know, you've got to be heady of that if you're Plaskin and kick that ball across the end line for the safety. One play later into the end zone go the Pine-Richland Rams. An interception thrown by Birch, returned into Gators territory to around the 42. One long pass, and, you know, traditionally that's what teams like to do. They get a takeaway and try for the home run ball, and that's when they found that big pass to Goches, and then one play later, Palmieri into the end zone.
The Gators have had their opportunities on the other side of the ball, and that's something that's really going to stick with these guys after this week, regardless of how this game shakes out. It's got to keep a knot in your stomach. It's not like you didn't have the opportunities, just couldn't punctuate those drives.
Next up, it'll be the Gateway Game of the Week here on NFHS this upcoming Monday. Gateway Gators 6-4 taking on the West Mifflin Titans, who are 4-4-1 on the season. Spencer Witt will be on the call for you just before 7 o'clock on NFHS, and that'll be right here at Pete Anamarino Stadium for next week's Gateway Game of the Week. Vince, you have the call of a doubleheader on the Gateway Games of the Week 2 weeks from yesterday.
Excited to get a little soccer in. It's been a little while.
2 receivers left, one to the near side right. Dow with the pressure, the dump off to Palmieri, and a very nice open field tackle by Jameer Harbor. 2 good plays defensively here in the second half with Jameer Harbor, and that one leads to the turnover on downs. And with 7:43 to play here, Gateway has got to get points, and they got to get them fairly quickly. Granted, they have 3 timeouts in their pocket, but they want to do this in efficient fashion so they can use those timeouts defensively to try to tie the game on the ensuing drive, should that come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're beating a dead horse, but it's really a simple concept. Time, even though it is a construct, is finite within the confines of the game that's being played, and so you got to go out there, you got to get points at the time you're allotted, and they don't have a whole lot of it left. Time to make hay.
Birch, the motion man from left to right. Brad Birch pressured, steps up, trying to run to the near side left, but he is brought down as Connor Lenz will make the stop there, and waves of defensive linemen coming at Brad Birch.
We've got to find a way to get the ball out quicker. He had a little bit of time there, looks to step up, gets away from the first guy, but not enough time to sit back there. You know these guys are getting after you, so you got to find ways to get guys open underneath and try and get someone like Bodie in open space. There they go.
Bunch to the right, pass complete to Bodie. Bodie bobbles the pass, then catches it, and races his way across the 35 out towards the 36. Now there's a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. We'll have to check in with the official from that far side, and he's going to say a hold against Gateway. So that penalty is going to cost Gateway 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Yeah, the receiver, Inez Jordan, was definitely holding Brandon Ansel. The big loss on that play pushes Gateway all the way back to the 21-yard line with the line to gain the 45. So the quick math says 2nd down and 24.
Seen a decent amount of those tonight on both sides.
Trips right, one receiver left. Birch going to toss it to the near side left. And the pass intended for Dallas Harper is incomplete. Coverage on the play by Andrew Mellis. The pass just not on the mark that time by Brad Birch.
No, he had him. Harper was open, had a step. But, yeah, about 3 or 4 yards over the head. This Gators offense just looks lost at him. And you see now late in this game, the body language, the energy, it's just not there. And it's disappointing to see because they do have so many playmakers, but there's just something not connecting with this unit right now.
Trips left, one receiver to the short side right. Birch off of play action, had time. Now the pocket collapses, and he'll be brought down back at around the 15-yard line. It'll be 4th and a country mile. Back at the 15, that brings up 4th down and 30.
I mean, I guess you got to keep the offense out there on the field with a hope and a prayer. But again, Birch had a little bit of time there. Got to find someone. What are the receivers doing? Got to get open. I don't know if it's just Birch hanging on to it a little bit too long and not trusting himself to get the ball down the field, or if the Rams really have just taken the receiving core of the Gators completely out of the equation here. But I mean, again, I guess you got to keep your offense out here. Time's against you, but I don't know. They will go for it. No,
I mean, with 4th and 30, I can't imagine that you want to do anything but try to at least back Pine-Richland up and use your timeouts defensively here. 3 timeouts, get the stop, prevent Pine-Richland from getting a first down, see what you can do offensively.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I was thinking. I'm glad they brought the punt unit out because 4th and 30 is a pretty impossible situation to see fortuitous things happen. And Claxton with an okay boot, but not his best punt of the night. That's tough. You really would have liked to have seen him get that past midfield. And again, this defense has got to rise to the occasion one last time. See if they have it in them.
To the ground go the Rams, running left to Eastburn. Eastburn carries it inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line. So a nice gain of 8 brings up 2nd down and 2.
You gotta wonder if this defense is starting to get tired down there. I mean, they've played so much of this second half.
And we've seen them get tired. We've seen them get sparked. We saw them make plays when they've had to here in the second half. Unfortunately, their counterparts on the other side of the football have not obliged. Yeah. Offensively, the Gators have been quiet through the 2nd, 3rd, and now into the 4th quarter. Is nowhere to go for Boyd there as Brooks makes the stop at the line of scrimmage.
No score in the second half. We've seen no points put up on the board. Credit to both of these defenses, but especially the Gators. They've just been out there so much longer in this second half, and they've done what they've had to do.
Again, we saw Gateway's offense in the 2nd quarter move the ball a bit, but they weren't able to do anything with it once they moved the ball into Rams territory. Once Pine-Richland came away with a takeaway, the other time a blocked field goal to finish off the half. To the ground, nowhere to go for Eastburn as he's met in the backfield by Remy Bose. And Don Hall's going to take a timeout here prior to this 4th down and about 4.
You got 4 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock. A good job there. Again, rising to the occasion, gang tackling Remy Bose, one of those guys whose names we call often coming up from that 2nd level at the linebacker position. But, you know, Adam, I think ultimately here on 4th and 4 with 4 minutes left, this is your ball game. This is absolutely your ball game.
Taking a look at the Allegheny 6. We talked about that conference earlier. The Moon Tigers 4-0 right now, the class of 5A. West Allegheny nipping at their heels 3-0 thus far in non-conference action. Peters Township, the runners-up at the WPIAL a year ago, 3-1. South Fayette also 3-1. And it's Upper St. Clair and Bethel Park bringing up the rear in that conference. South Fayette, a team who's playing the Gators opponent next week, the Latrobe Wildcats. Gateway with a pair of back-to-back home games. Latrobe next week to open up conference play.
Latrobe just fell to South Fayette 35-7, so South Fayette moves to 4-1. Kiski held on. They upend West Allegheny. They moved to 5-0. We'll probably see them in the top 5 next week. West Allegheny sees their first loss of the season. They fall to 3-1. Moon was up 42-7 on Fox Chapel, so I'm not the best gambler in the world, but I'm going to say that Moon's going to keep that top spot next week.
Seems like it. So 4th down and 3 for Pine-Richland as they will again pooch punt it. Gateway calling the Peter.
Oh,
and this
my
one
goodness.
all the way down to the 1-yard line. And the first touchdown of the game was by Bradford Gelly on the TD catch, and that time a big play by Gelly special teams-wise to down it at the 1-yard line after a nice punt by Colton Boyd. And there's been some hidden yardage in these pooch punts today, most especially by Colton Boyd as he's been able to back Gateway up even deeper while the Gators have certainly trailed in the field position game as it is.
Both of these teams are saying punters are so 2020. Who needs a punter? Just keep the quarterback out there. He'll get it done. Certainly Boyd has been magnificent. This one, the creme de la creme. The Gators, they got every yard to go basically if they're going to get to pay dirt.
Yeah, the ball at the 1. It's Birch in the shotgun with Reynolds to his left. Handoff to Reynolds. Has a big hole to the left-hand side. Drives his way out towards the 5 before he is shouldered down by Jacob Domer, 6'4", 290 pounds. Vince, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you talk about this defensive front for Pine-Richland. Tall, up into the 250s to 300 range. Big guys. They do look like a Division I FCS type defensive front.
They're just large human beings, Adam.
Play action, pass. Brett Birch catches it at the line of scrimmage, but has nowhere to go after that. And they credit him with a yard before being driven back.
Just not seeing the spark or the confidence from this offense. I don't see that belief that they can go down the field and get points right now. It's a shame because I have so much confidence in what these guys can do and hopefully will do throughout the course of the season. And we've seen those glimpses against lesser opponents. But these are the games where it really counts, and these are the games where you find out whether or not you've got what it takes to get all the way to Heinz Field in November.
So 3rd down and 8. Birch off of play action, looking right the whole way, throwing right. The pass to Bodie is low and short. Bodie had a couple of steps in front of the defensive back there. So this will be 4th down and 1. And obviously Gateway is going to have to go for it offensively here. To see Bodie get involved in the offense, even if it's in a moment where it doesn't look like the Gators going to be able to come back in this game with 2.5 minutes to go.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a jet sweep or a reverse or just more of an effort to get him involved.
Reynolds, the ball carrier, met in the backfield. Turnover on downs as Pine-Richland was a yard deep. And it will be Rams football. And Steve Campos going to run his offense out there. Other than a couple of knees, providing Gateway doesn't take timeouts, it'll be the end of the football game momentarily.
Just not enough from the Gators tonight on the offensive side of the ball. You can't overcomplicate it. You only put 7 points up when you're a team that's been averaging 33 thus far this season. They just never really got it going other than the one pass over the top. I think they really found their demise with those 2 interceptions in the second quarter. I think that really nullified the confidence and the enthusiasm for this offense.
Pine-Richland had 12 players in the huddle. So a legal substitution against the Rams. That's going to cost them 5 yards. The ball will be moved back to the 14. It'll be 1st and goal from the 14.
It'll be interesting, though, Adam. I don't think that the separation between these two teams is all that wide. I just think the execution wasn't there tonight. So, you lick your wounds. This stinks. But there's a good chance we might see this matchup again later in the season.
Eastburn, the ball carrier, out of the Wildcat QB. Brought down by Elijah Heller. Also, Remy Bose involved in that tackle. A gain of 4. Brings up second down and goal from around the 10-yard line.
A good second effort there by Eastburn. But again, Gators defense flocking to the ball. 3 different gold helmets there.
Clock winding towards 1:35 to play here. Second down and goal from around the 10. Eastburn the ball carrier, and he will saunter into the end zone, but a flag comes in. Maybe holding against Pine-Richland to cost them 7 there. This will be the second TD wiped off of the board today on a holding call.
Holding, offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty, still.
That holding penalty called against Samuel Green. Samuel Green, who has made an impact on the other side of the football defensively. 6'2", 260 pounds. Plays guard on offense and defensive line on the other side of the football. Take a look at their offensive line, Vince. You know, a lot of those guys are going both ways. Those are big fellas as well.
They are. And what's interesting is on that side of the ball, Gateway's really matched them pound for pound. I don't know what the secret sauce is on the other side, but it's just been broken play after broken play for Gateway offensively.
Eastburn running left, nowhere to go. Met brought down at around the 20-yard line. You can see the Gators pulling at the football there. Elijah Heller, amongst others, trying to get the ball away from a ram. And Gateway's going to use a timeout here.
Yeah, you see Harper also getting in there. And you know, if you get a scoop and score, it certainly makes it a game. You got to go for it. I mean, it's that gamesmanship. You play till the end of the game. Yeah. Ball carrier did have the ball out there just a little bit. Eastburn.
Now, Vince, earlier you questioned why Gateway is being able to control the line of scrimmage, defense versus offense, as opposed to the other side when it's basically the same guys. And the issue is when you're playing offense and you've got speedy guys in front of you, that speed can beat the strength. However, the other way, strength can beat the guys that are a little bit smaller, and that's exactly what's happening. Pine-Richland has bigger guys. They're stronger. They're able to beat a lot of the offensive linemen the Gateway has.
I'll certainly defer to the guy that played well in high school and college in the trenches. That was never my forte or my area, but absolutely. I mean, that's a good point, and they have really dominated and plugged those gaps. And we've seen Reynolds. He's been virtually non-existent in the offense outside of a couple receptions and a couple longer 8-9-yard runs, but he's been a shell of what we've seen in the first few weeks. And I tend to think that's not necessarily because of his performance, but rather the ability for him to find green grass in front of him.
Third down. Eastburn, the ball carrier. And he'll be brought down at the line of scrimmage as Don Hall takes his final timeout.
Stop by Lewis.
So 1:13 here.
Timeout, Gators.
I know Don Hall wants to make sure he gets his offense an opportunity, and I don't think Gateway's going to be able to score 14 points over the next minute and 13. But stranger things have happened, number one. And number two, if you're able to get the ball back and you're able to score, does that springboard some momentum into next week? I would think so.
These are all coachable moments, teachable moments. And he probably feels a sense of due diligence to at least give himself a shot. You know, why walk out with the timeouts in your pocket? Use them or lose them. So I don't necessarily disagree with it here. If you think about it, you get one shot over the top to a guy like Patrick Bodie. Okay, you know, you're back in this with however little time left you've got.
And like I said, stranger things have happened, especially when you can think about the kind of athletes that Gateway has. Should a opportunity for an onside kick arise, but the defense has to make a stop and the offense has to score before we cross that bridge. Trips right, one receiver left. Boyd is back out there for Pine-Richland. He looks left, throws left. The pass is incomplete, broken up by Patrick Bodie. Bodie step for step with Gochis, the intended receiver, and that turnover on downs gives the Gators the ball at around the 21-yard line. So Gateway if they want to try to force overtime, they got to score quick, they got to get an onside kick, and they got to score again.
Easy, right?
Sure.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Let's see if there's some magic here at Pink Anna Marino Stadium. Stadium named after the longtime head coach of the Gateway Gators. Many WPIAL championships years ago. Trips left, one receiver to the short side right. Birch gonna step up into the pocket, gonna toss it, and it is incomplete, looking for Brett Birch, and a flag comes in late. And I think it may have been a blow to the head there at the end of that play. I don't think it's pass interference. I think it may be some sort of unnecessary roughness or personal foul.
Yeah, it did look like Birch took a shot after he had already gotten to the ground. And they're so cognizant, these officials are, and rightly so, of taking care of players. You know, we don't see the crackback blocks anymore. We see an emphasis on defenseless players.
So it'll be 15 yards. Pushing Gateway out towards the 36-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Gators. The flag was thrown against Palmieri. And again, trips to the left, one receiver to the right-hand side. Birch is in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Dumped off to Reynolds. Reynolds running right. Cuts it back inside. May have been well served to go to the boundary there. Instead, he cut it back in. And he'll be brought down actually shy of the first down marker. So that's going to cost Gateway time as well, as they don't even get to stop the clock on the first down.
Yeah, however fleeting those opportunities were going to be, you've basically gone past that now.
Birch, pass complete. It's Bodie running to the left. Has a gap, cuts through defenders, bringing it to the near side. A flag is down behind the play as Bodie fumbles the football. It's recovered by Pine-Richland. And preventing this from being a flag against Gateway, or rather a flag against Pine-Richland at the 40. It's going to be Pine-Richland football. A flag well after the play is going to be a personal foul for unsportsmanlike conduct against Pine-Richland.
Yeah, that's poor sportsmanship. That's and kudos to Bodie, just getting up, calmly walking away, knowing that there's really nothing to be gained by sticking your face mask into that. Yeah, you expect better. These are certainly young men. These are certainly guys just learning their way through, but not great to see that.
Dead ball, personal foul. Pine-Richland, half the distance, first down Pine-Richland.
So like you heard there, the personal foul after the play was over. As you see Bodie here, I didn't see a hold, but they throw the flag nonetheless. And then as Bodie brought it up here, he had it stripped away, and then it is recovered by the Rams and taunting by Palmieri. And I'll tell you what, Palmieri has done his fair share of that throughout the evening. Finally got flagged for it. So the Rams will take the knee, and that will be the final play of the football game. Gateway with 3 turnovers, 2 of them extremely costly, most especially the one that 2 plays later led to a Gateway touchdown, and another one that ended up leading to thwarting a Gateway drive.
Yeah, 2 very specific drives that I think were the big story of the game are those 2 back-to-back interceptions by Birch. One which was a play where you wish you would have called the timeout and not sped your quarterback up. Had to have him hike the ball with the time winding down on the play clock. He was flustered, forces the ball into his brother, gets intercepted. Second time, get a batted ball at the line of scrimmage and a tough break. Both of those drives, you felt like the Gators were really piecing it together and getting ready to take momentum back in the game. And both times, Pine-Richland stood tall. And after that, you never really got the sense that Gateway had a foothold of the momentum totally. They had flashes, they had moments, they had special teams plays, but they never really were able to make anything of that.
Gateway, they're going to have to lick their wounds, head into conference play with a record of 3-2, while Pine-Richland, the defending state champions, they're going to take a modicum of momentum into conference play, winning 2 straight games, one against Upper St. Clair, and then a tough win on the road against one of the top teams in 5A in the Gateway Gators.
Right. They all start counting now. This is where it really matters. I mean, you certainly wanted to come away with this one. It's the game we've been waiting now 2 years for. It's a team that you fully expect to see in the playoffs alongside you as 2 of the top dogs in 5A. But when push comes to shove, you're basically 0-0 next week, and it's an opportunity to get off on the right foot to win your conference and give yourself a chance to play deep into the fall.
And it will be the Latrobe Wildcats coming to Pete Anna Marino Stadium for homecoming next Friday night. Vince Russo, you'll have the call for us on that one, and what promises to be a big game for the Gateway Gators.
Absolutely. We've seen them bounce back from a loss in big fashion before. They handled Penn Hills. We'll see if they can do it again. You know, Latrobe got drubbed tonight by South Bayette, but they're not a total pushover. They've put together some decent performances. I look for that to be a pretty good game.
Again, Gateway falls to 3-2, while Pine-Richland improves to 2-3 with a 21-7 win over the Gateway Gators. For my broadcast partner, Vince Russo, and our entire crew, I'm Adam Gusky. We'll talk to you again next week. It'll be homecoming at Anna Marino Stadium, and you'll catch it right here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.